with the help of her mother Gaia, concealed him from his father's ravenous hunger. Instead of the infant Zeus, Cronus was tricked into swallowing a stone wrapped in swaddling clothes. Zeus was secretly nurtured in a cave on Mount Dicta in Crete, raised by nymphs and protected by the earth goddess Gaia. Upon reaching adulthood, Zeus, driven by righteous anger and a thirst for vengeance, confronted his father. With the aid of Métis, the Titaness of wisdom, Zeus tricked Cronus into drinking a potion that forced him to regurgitate his swallowed offspring. One by one, Hestia, Demeter, Hera, Hades, and Poseidon emerged from Cronus's belly, fully grown and filled with a burning desire for retribution. Thus began the Titanomachy, a decade-long war of epic proportions, pitting the Olympian gods, led by Zeus, against the mighty Titans, under the command of Cronus. Poseidon, alongside his brothers and sisters, fought valiantly, wielding the raw power of nature against the ancient forces of the cosmos.
Watch this story in full. Subscribe, comment and like my channel. Green Mythology, for mythology and history. Gateway to the captivating worlds of ancient myth. Now watch the story in full please.
Poseidon, the formidable Olympian deity, reigns supreme as the god of the sea, earthquakes, storms, and horses. His dominion extends over the vast and unpredictable ocean, the tremors that shake the earth, the tempestuous forces of nature, and the majestic power of equines. Revered and feared in equal measure, Poseidon embodies the raw, untamed power of the natural world, a force capable of both creation and destruction. His symbols, the trident, the dolphin, and the horse, are potent emblems that encapsulate his multifaceted nature and the breadth of his influence. To truly grasp the significance of Poseidon, one must delve into the rich tapestry of Greek mythology, exploring his origins, his relationships with other deities and mortals, and the myriad stories that have shaped his enduring legacy. This exploration will unveil a complex and compelling figure, a god whose moods mirror the ever-shifting tides of the sea he commands. Origins and lineage: a Titan's son ascends to Olympus. Poseidon's story begins not in the radiant halls of Olympus, but in the shadowy realm of the Titans, the primordial deities who preceded the Olympians. He is the offspring of Cronus, the Titan king of time, and Rhea, the Titaness of motherhood and generation. His birth, like those of his siblings, was shrouded in darkness and fear, a consequence of a chilling prophecy that foretold Cronus's downfall at the hands of his own children. Driven by paranoia and a desperate desire to maintain his tyrannical rule, Cronus devoured each of his children as they were born: Hestia, Demeter, Hera, Hades, and Poseidon himself. Imagine the horror of Rhea, forced to witness such unspeakable acts, her maternal heart breaking with each swallowed infant. Yet, fate, in the guise of Rhea's cunning and Gaia's ancient wisdom, intervened. When Zeus, the youngest of Cronus's sons, was born, Rhea, with the help of her mother Gaia, concealed him from his father's ravenous hunger. Instead of the infant Zeus, Cronus was tricked into swallowing a stone wrapped in swaddling clothes. Zeus was secretly nurtured in a cave on Mount Dicta in Crete, raised by nymphs and protected by the earth goddess Gaia. Upon reaching adulthood, Zeus, driven by righteous anger and a thirst for vengeance, confronted his father. With the aid of Métis, the Titaness of wisdom, Zeus tricked Cronus into drinking a potion that forced him to regurgitate his swallowed offspring. One by one, Hestia, Demeter, Hera, Hades, and Poseidon emerged from Cronus's belly, fully grown and filled with a burning desire for retribution. Thus began the Titanomachy, a decade-long war of epic proportions, pitting the Olympian gods, led by Zeus, against the mighty Titans, under the command of Cronus. Poseidon, alongside his brothers and sisters, fought valiantly, wielding the raw power of nature against the ancient forces of the cosmos. In this cataclysmic struggle, Poseidon demonstrated his formidable strength and mastery over the seas. He unleashed colossal waves that crashed against the Titan strongholds, summoned monstrous sea creatures to harass their ranks, and caused the very earth to tremble beneath their feet. His contributions were crucial to the Olympian victory, solidifying his place among the most powerful deities. Following the Titans' defeat and their imprisonment in the abyss of Tartarus, the cosmos was divided amongst the three brothers: Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades. Zeus, as the eldest and most powerful, claimed the heavens and the air, becoming the king of the gods. Hades was granted dominion over the underworld, the realm of the dead. To Poseidon fell the vast and turbulent seas, along with the power over earthquakes and storms, a fitting realm for his volatile and passionate nature. Domains and powers. Ruler of the raging depths. Poseidon's primary domain is the sea, encompassing all waters from the tranquil shallows to the deepest, most unexplored trenches. He is the master of the oceans, the seas, the rivers, and the lakes, wielding absolute authority over their currents, tides, and inhabitants. Sailors and seafarers invoked his name for safe passage, fishermen prayed for bountiful catches, and coastal cities relied on his favor for protection from the sea's wrath. His power over the sea is not merely passive, he actively shapes and controls it. With a flick of his trident, he can calm the fiercest storms, turning raging waves into placid ripples. Conversely, when angered, he can unleash devastating tempests, summoning monstrous waves that dwarf mountains and sink entire fleets. Shipwrecks and drownings were often attributed to Poseidon's displeasure, a stark reminder of his capricious nature. Beyond the seas, Poseidon also commands the forces of earthquakes. The Greeks believed that earthquakes were caused by Poseidon striking the earth with his trident, causing the ground to tremble and cities to crumble. This association with earthquakes further emphasizes his power over the physical world, linking him to both the fluid realm of the sea and the solid ground beneath their feet. Storms, too, fall under Poseidon's dominion. He is the master of winds and rain, capable of conjuring torrential downpours, violent gales, and terrifying hurricanes. These storms, often born from the sea, further solidify his control over the watery element and its unpredictable nature. Sailors caught in sudden storms would desperately plead for Poseidon's mercy, offering sacrifices to appease his wrath. Adding another layer to his complex persona, Poseidon is also the god of horses. This might seem incongruous with his maritime domains, but the connection is deeply rooted in Greek mythology. Horses, with their powerful muscles and untamed spirit, were seen as analogous to the surging waves of the sea. Poseidon is credited with creating the first horse, either out of sea foam or by striking a rock with his trident. He is often depicted riding a chariot drawn by magnificent sea horses, creatures with the forequarters of a horse and the tail of a fish or serpent. These mythical steeds, as powerful and untamed as their master, further symbolize Poseidon's dominion over both land and sea, connecting the equine world with the aquatic realm. Symbols: the trident, dolphin, and horse, emblems of power. Poseidon's symbols are not mere decorations, they are potent visual representations of his power, domains, and personality. Each symbol carries deep mythological significance, offering further insights into the character of this complex deity. The trident, Poseidon's most iconic symbol, is a three-pronged spear, often depicted as being made of bronze or gold. This weapon is not merely a tool but an extension of Poseidon's power. With the trident, he can command the seas, stir up storms, shatter rocks, and cause earthquakes. It is a symbol of his authority, his ability to control the forces of nature, and his formidable strength. The three prongs are often interpreted as representing the three realms of Poseidon's dominion: the sea, the earth, and the underworld. Though Hades ruled the underworld, Poseidon's power extended to its watery depths. The dolphin, a creature known for its intelligence, playfulness, and grace in the sea, is another significant symbol of Poseidon. Dolphins were considered sacred to him, often depicted accompanying him or his chariot. Their association with Poseidon may stem from their connection to the sea, their perceived ability to guide sailors, and their gentle nature, which contrasts with Poseidon's more tempestuous aspects. Dolphins represent the calmer, more benevolent side of the sea god, highlighting his role as a protector and guide, as well as a force of nature. The horse, as previously mentioned, is deeply intertwined with Poseidon's identity. As the creator and patron of horses, they are naturally his symbol. Horses embody power, speed, and untamed energy, qualities that resonate with Poseidon's own character and his control over the surging waves. The horse symbol further reinforces his dominion over both land and sea, bridging the gap between these seemingly disparate realms. In some myths, Poseidon even takes the form of a horse, further solidifying this symbolic connection. Myths and stories, tales of wrath, love, and creation. Poseidon's mythology is rich with tales that showcase his multifaceted personality, his interactions with gods and mortals, and the extent of his influence on the ancient Greek world. These myths reveal him to be a powerful, often wrathful, but also passionate and creative deity. One of the most famous Poseidon myths is his contest with Athena for the patronage of Athens. Both deities desired to be the city's protector, and they agreed to a contest to determine who would be most worthy. Poseidon struck the Acropolis with his trident, creating a saltwater spring, symbolizing naval power and wealth. Athena, in contrast, offered an olive tree, a symbol of peace, prosperity, and agricultural abundance. The Athenians, valuing wisdom and peace over naval might, chose Athena as their patron, much to Poseidon's displeasure. In his anger, he flooded the Thriasian plain, a testament to his vengeful nature when his pride is wounded. Poseidon played a significant role in the Trojan War, siding with the Greeks against the Trojans. He held a long-standing grudge against the city of Troy, stemming from an earlier incident when King Laomedon of Troy cheated him and Apollo out of their agreed-upon payment for building the city walls. During the war, Poseidon aided the Greeks by causing storms to hinder the Trojan fleet, bolstering the Greek forces, and even intervening directly in battles. His divine intervention significantly contributed to the eventual Greek victory. Poseidon's love affairs are as tempestuous and varied as the seas he rules. He had numerous consorts, both goddesses and mortals, and fathered a diverse array of offspring, both divine and monstrous. His union with Amphitrite, a Nereid sea nymph, produced Trident, a merman messenger of the sea. However, Poseidon's affections were not always reciprocated, and his pursuit of Demeter led to a bizarre and desperate act. To escape his advances, Demeter transformed herself into a mare. Undeterred, Poseidon transformed into a stallion and pursued her, resulting in the birth of Arion, a swift and immortal horse. Poseidon's wrath is a recurring theme in his myths. His anger is easily provoked, and his punishments are often severe and far-reaching. Odysseus's arduous journey home in Homer's Odyssey is largely due to Poseidon's wrath. Odysseus blinded Poseidon's son, the Cyclops Polyphemus, incurring the sea god's undying fury. Poseidon relentlessly plagued Odysseus's voyage with storms, shipwrecks, and monstrous obstacles, delaying his return for 10 long years. This myth vividly illustrates the consequences of incurring Poseidon's displeasure and the enduring nature of his vengeance. Despite his wrathful side, Poseidon is also depicted as a creative force. He is credited with creating various islands by striking the sea with his trident, and he is often associated with the creation of springs and other bodies of water. His role in the creation of the horse further highlights his creative abilities, linking him to both the natural world and the realm of artifice and skill. Worship and cult. Honoring the Sea King. Worship of Poseidon was widespread throughout ancient Greece, particularly in coastal regions and maritime cities. Sailors, fishermen, merchants, and anyone whose livelihood depended on the sea paid him homage, seeking his favor and protection. Temples and sanctuaries dedicated to Poseidon were erected in prominent coastal locations, often overlooking the sea, allowing worshippers to connect directly with the god's domain. Temples to Poseidon were often grand and imposing structures, reflecting the god's power and majesty. The Temple of Poseidon at Sunion, perched dramatically on a cliff overlooking the Aegean Sea, is a particularly famous example. Its ruins still stand today, a testament to the enduring power of Poseidon's cult. Other significant temples were located at Corinth, a major maritime city, and in various coastal towns and islands throughout Greece. Rituals and sacrifices performed in Poseidon's honor were often elaborate and involved offerings appropriate to his domains. Bulls, horses, and rams, animals associated with his power and virility, were common sacrificial victims. Libations of wine and honey were poured out to appease him, and prayers were offered for safe voyages, bountiful catches, and protection from storms and earthquakes. Festivals dedicated to Poseidon, known as the Isthmian Games, were held biennially at Corinth. These games, second in importance only to the Olympic Games, included athletic competitions, chariot races befitting the god of horses, and musical and dramatic performances. The Isthmian Games were a major religious and cultural event, attracting participants and spectators from across the Greek world, further demonstrating the widespread reverence for Poseidon. Oracles of Poseidon were also consulted, though less frequently than those of Apollo or Zeus. The most famous oracle of Poseidon was located at Onchestus in Boeotia. People would seek guidance from Poseidon's oracle on matters related to seafaring, trade, and maritime affairs, trusting in the sea god's wisdom and foresight in these domains. Legacy and influence. Poseidon's enduring tide. Poseidon's influence extends far beyond the ancient world, resonating through art, literature, and popular culture to this day. His image as a powerful, bearded god wielding a trident remains instantly recognizable, a testament to the enduring power of Greek mythology. In art, Poseidon is frequently depicted in sculpture, painting, and mosaics. Classical sculptures often portray him as a majestic figure, muscular and bearded, often nude or draped in flowing robes, holding his trident and surrounded by sea creatures. Renaissance and Baroque artists, inspired by classical mythology, continued to depict Poseidon in grand and dramatic scenes, emphasizing his power and dominion over the sea. In literature, Poseidon features prominently in numerous Greek myths and epic poems, most notably Homer's Odyssey. His wrath and his role in Odysseus's trials are central to the epic's narrative, demonstrating the enduring power of divine intervention in human affairs. Later literary works, from classical Roman poetry to modern novels and poems, continue to draw inspiration from Poseidon's mythology, exploring his complex character and his symbolic significance. In popular culture, Poseidon remains a potent and recognizable figure. He appears in countless books, movies, television shows, and video games, often as a powerful and imposing character associated with the sea and its mysteries. His trident and image are used in logos, symbols, and branding, evoking notions of power, strength, and the untamed forces of nature. Poseidon's enduring legacy lies in his embodiment of the raw power of the natural world, particularly the sea. He represents the unpredictable, sometimes benevolent, sometimes destructive forces that shape our planet. He reminds us of the awe-inspiring power of nature, the importance of respecting its forces, and the enduring human fascination with the mysteries of the deep. His stories continue to captivate and inspire, ensuring that Poseidon, the god of the sea, earthquakes, storms, and horses, will forever ride the waves of human imagination. Poseidon, god of the sea, earthquakes, storms, and horses, a 20,000-word exploration. Introduction. The dominion of the Earth Shaker. In the vast tapestry of ancient Greek mythology, where gods and goddesses reigned supreme, wielding powers that shaped the very fabric of existence, few figures commanded as much awe and primal fear as Poseidon. Known as the god of the sea, the Earth Shaker, the storm bringer, and the tamer of horses, Poseidon was not merely a deity, he was a force of nature personified, a living embodiment of the untamed and unpredictable elements that governed the ancient world. His name, resonating with the crash of waves and the tremor of the ground, echoed through the ages, a testament to his immense power and enduring influence on the Greek psyche. Poseidon was one of the 12 Olympian gods, the principal deities who resided on the lofty heights of Mount Olympus, ruling over various aspects of the cosmos and human life. His domain was not confined to the tranquil blue waters of a summer's day, it encompassed the entirety of the aquatic realm, from the sun-kissed surface to the abyssal depths where mysteries and monsters dwelled. He was the master of the oceans, the seas, the rivers, the lakes, and even the subterranean waters that coursed beneath the earth. With a flick of his wrist and the mighty trident he wielded, Poseidon could summon forth towering waves that dwarfed ships, unleash devastating storms that ripped through the skies, and command the very tides that dictated the rhythm of coastal life. But Poseidon's power was not limited to the watery expanses. He was also the Earth Shaker, a title that spoke to his dominion over the very ground beneath their feet. When angered, he could strike the earth with his trident, splitting the land asunder, causing violent earthquakes that toppled cities and reshaped landscapes. This connection to the earth, seemingly paradoxical for a sea god, highlighted the ancient understanding of the world as interconnected, where the forces of water and land were inextricably linked, both capable of creation and destruction on a grand scale. Beyond the sea and the earth, Poseidon was also revered as the god of storms. The unpredictable and often violent nature of the sea was mirrored in the sudden and terrifying storms that could erupt from seemingly clear skies. Poseidon was believed to control these atmospheric upheavals, unleashing torrential rains, howling winds, and blinding lightning upon those who incurred his wrath or simply found themselves in the path of his tempestuous moods. Sailors, in particular, lived in constant awareness of Poseidon's storm-wielding capacity, offering prayers and sacrifices to appease him and ensure safe passage across his watery kingdom. Adding another layer to his complex persona, Poseidon was also the god of horses. This association, less immediately apparent than his marine and seismic domains, speaks to the vital role horses played in ancient Greek society, both in warfare and daily life. Poseidon was credited with creating the first horse, a magnificent creature born from the sea foam, imbued with the power and untamed spirit of the ocean. itself. He was seen as the tamer and father of horses, patronizing equestrian events and horse racing, further solidifying his multifaceted dominion over both the wild and the cultivated aspects of the ancient world. To visually represent his immense power and multifaceted nature, Poseidon was associated with a potent array of symbols. The most iconic of these was the trident, a three-pronged spear that served as both his weapon and his scepter. With the trident, Poseidon could command the seas, stir earthquakes, and even create springs of fresh water. The dolphin, a creature known for its intelligence, playfulness, and association with the sea, was also a sacred symbol of Poseidon, often depicted accompanying him in art. And of course, the horse, in all its majestic strength and beauty, served as a constant reminder of Poseidon's mastery over these noble beasts and his connection to the terrestrial realm. Through these domains and symbols, Poseidon emerges as a figure of immense complexity and power, a deity who embodied the raw, untamed forces of nature that both sustained and threatened the ancient Greek world. He was a god to be respected, feared, and constantly appeased, a testament to the ancient Greeks' deep understanding of the power of the natural world and their place within its grand, often unpredictable, design. To delve into the mythology of Poseidon is to explore the very essence of ancient Greek cosmology, their relationship with the sea, their understanding of the earth, and their reverence for the forces that shaped their lives and their world. His stories are filled with drama, conflict, creation, and destruction, reflecting the dynamic and often turbulent nature of the elements he controlled and the human experience itself. 2. Origins and family, a Titan's son, an Olympian brother. Poseidon's origins are deeply intertwined with the primordial narratives of Greek cosmology, tracing back to the very dawn of the cosmos and the tumultuous reign of the Titans. He was born to Cronus and Rhea, two of the 12 Titans, the generation of powerful deities who preceded the Olympians. Cronus, driven by a prophecy that he would be overthrown by his own offspring, devoured each of his children as they were born, seeking to defy fate and maintain his tyrannical rule. Poseidon, along with his siblings Hades, Hera, Demeter, and Hestia, suffered this grim fate, swallowed whole by their father and imprisoned within his vast belly. Only Zeus, the youngest sibling, escaped this horrific destiny thanks to the cunning of Rhea, who tricked Cronus into swallowing a stone wrapped in swaddling clothes instead of her newborn son. Zeus, hidden away and nurtured in secret, eventually grew to maturity and, with the aid of his mother and the goddess Metis, orchestrated the downfall of Cronus. Metis provided Cronus with a potion that caused him to vomit up his swallowed children, freeing Poseidon and his siblings from their decade-long imprisonment. This act of liberation marked the beginning of the Titanomachy, a colossal 10-year war between the Titans and the Olympian gods, led by Zeus and his siblings. Poseidon, fueled by resentment for his father's cruelty and a desire for justice, joined his brothers and sisters in the epic struggle. He wielded immense power in the conflict, his control over the seas proving to be a decisive factor in turning the tide against the Titans. The Cyclops, freed from their Tartarian prison by Zeus, forged for Poseidon his iconic trident, a weapon of immense power that further amplified his dominion over the aquatic realm. After the Olympians emerged victorious from the Titanomachy, the cosmos was divided amongst the three brothers, Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades. Zeus, being the eldest and the leader of the rebellion, claimed the sky and the heavens as his domain, becoming the king of the gods and ruler of the celestial realm. Hades, the brooding and enigmatic brother, was granted dominion over the underworld, the shadowy realm of the dead. To Poseidon fell the vast and turbulent realm of the sea, the oceans, and all waters, a fitting dominion for a god of such immense and untamed power. While the earth and Mount Olympus were considered common ground, belonging to all three brothers, Poseidon's primary sphere of influence became the watery expanse that covered much of the world. Within the Olympian family, Poseidon held a position of significant stature, though often overshadowed by the supreme authority of Zeus. He was known for his powerful personality, his volatile temper, and his proneness to fits of rage, traits often associated with the untamed forces of nature he embodied. Despite his brotherly bond with Zeus, their relationship was often fraught with tension and rivalry, reflecting the inherent conflicts and power struggles within the Olympian pantheon. Poseidon's consort was Amphitrite, a sea nymph of great beauty and grace. Their courtship, however, was not without its challenges. According to some accounts, Amphitrite initially resisted Poseidon's advances, fleeing from him and hiding in the depths of the Atlantic Ocean. Desperate to win her hand, Poseidon sent dolphins to search for her, and it was a dolphin that eventually persuaded Amphitrite to return and accept Poseidon as her husband. In gratitude, Poseidon placed the dolphin among the stars as the constellation Delphinus, a testament to the creature's role in bringing him and Amphitrite together. Together, Poseidon and Amphitrite ruled over the seas, residing in a magnificent palace of gold beneath the waves. They had several children, most notably Trident, a merman messenger of the sea, often depicted blowing a conch shell, and Rhode, a nymph associated with the island of Rhodes. However, Poseidon was also known for his numerous affairs with goddesses, nymphs, and mortal women, fathering a vast lineage of demigods, heroes, and monstrous creatures, further extending his influence and presence throughout the mythological world. His children, often reflecting his own dual nature, ranged from benevolent rulers and skilled seafarers to fearsome giants and terrifying beasts, embodying the creative and destructive potential inherent in their divine parentage. 3. Domains and powers. The Earth-Shaker's tremendous might. Poseidon's dominion was vast and multifaceted, encompassing not just the seas but also earthquakes, storms, and horses. His powers were as formidable and unpredictable as the elements he controlled, making him a deity to be both revered and feared. Understanding the scope of his domains and the nature of his powers is crucial to grasping his significance in Greek mythology and the ancient Greek worldview. As the god of the sea, Poseidon held absolute authority over all bodies of water, from the vast oceans that encircled the world to the smallest streams and springs that trickled through the land. He commanded the waves, capable of raising them to towering heights or calming them to a glassy stillness with a mere gesture. He controlled the tides, dictating the ebb and flow of the oceans, influencing coastal ecosystems and maritime activities. Sailors and seafarers were particularly reliant on Poseidon's favor, offering prayers and sacrifices for safe voyages and protection from the sea's unpredictable wrath. He was seen as the protector of those who ventured onto the water, but also as a force capable of unleashing devastating storms and shipwrecks upon those who displeased him or simply found themselves caught in his turbulent domain. Poseidon's epithet, Earth-Shaker, aptly described his power over earthquakes. With a mighty strike of his trident upon the ground, he could unleash tremors that shook the earth, causing buildings to crumble, mountains to split, and coastlines to be reshaped. Earthquakes, in the ancient world, were terrifying and inexplicable events, attributed to the wrath of powerful deities. Poseidon, as the Earth-Shaker, was seen as the primary source of these seismic disturbances, a force capable of unleashing chaos and destruction upon the land. This connection to earthquakes, while seemingly distinct from his marine domain, highlights the ancient Greek understanding of the earth and sea as interconnected forces, both subject to Poseidon's immense power. His association with earthquakes also extended to subterranean waters, the underground rivers and springs that were believed to be connected to the oceans, further linking his terrestrial and aquatic domains. Adding to his formidable arsenal of powers, Poseidon was also the god of storms. He could summon forth violent tempests, unleashing torrential rains, howling winds, and flashing lightning upon the land and sea. Storms, like earthquakes, were forces of nature that inspired both awe and fear in the ancient world. Poseidon's control over storms made him a particularly potent and unpredictable deity, capable of disrupting human affairs and unleashing devastating weather patterns. Sailors dreaded Poseidon's storms, knowing that his wrath could easily capsize ships and send them to a watery grave. Farmers also prayed to Poseidon to avert destructive storms that could ruin crops and bring famine. His power over storms further solidified his image as a god of untamed and primal forces, capable of both creation and destruction on a grand scale. Beyond his dominion over the sea, earthquakes, and storms, Poseidon was also revered as the god of horses. This association, while seemingly disparate from his other domains, is rooted in the ancient Greek understanding of the horse as a powerful and majestic creature, embodying both the untamed spirit of nature and the cultivated strength of civilization. Poseidon was credited with creating the first horse, striking the earth with his trident and bringing forth this magnificent animal from the sea foam. He was seen as the tamer and father of horses, patronizing equestrian events, horse racing, and horsemanship in general. This connection to horses further broadened Poseidon's sphere of influence, extending his reach into the terrestrial realm and associating him with aspects of both wild nature and human civilization. The horse, in its strength, speed, and untamed beauty, became another symbol of Poseidon's power and multifaceted nature, linking him to both the turbulent sea and the solid earth. Poseidon's powers were not merely limited to controlling these natural elements, he could also manipulate them in various ways to achieve his will. He could create springs of fresh water by striking the earth with his trident, a gift often bestowed upon cities or regions he favored. Conversely, he could also unleash floods and droughts as punishments for those who incurred his wrath. His trident served as a versatile tool, capable of stirring the seas, causing earthquakes, creating springs, and even shattering rocks and mountains. His voice was said to be as loud as the crashing waves, and his presence could inspire both awe and terror. Poseidon was a god of immense physical strength and boundless energy, a force of nature personified, whose powers shaped the world and influenced the lives of mortals and gods alike. IV. Symbols of Poseidon: the trident, dolphin, and horse. Symbols played a crucial role in ancient Greek religion, serving as visual representations of deities and their attributes, embodying their powers and domains in a tangible and readily recognizable form. Poseidon, as one of the major Olympian gods, was associated with a potent array of symbols, each carrying significant meaning and contributing to his overall image and mythology. The most prominent of these symbols were the trident, the dolphin, and the horse, each deeply intertwined with his domains and powers. The trident, undoubtedly Poseidon's most iconic symbol, was a three-pronged spear, often depicted as a formidable weapon and a scepter of authority. Forged by the Cyclops during the Titanomachy, the trident was not merely a tool, it was an extension of Poseidon's divine power, a conduit through which he could exert his will upon the seas and the earth. The three prongs of the trident are often interpreted as representing Poseidon's dominion over the three realms of the sea: the surface waters, the deep sea, and the subterranean waters. It symbolized his control over the entirety of the aquatic realm, from the waves crashing on the shore to the mysterious depths where sea monsters lurked. As a weapon, the trident was capable of unleashing devastating power. With a mighty thrust, Poseidon could stir the seas into violent storms, creating towering waves that could capsize ships and engulf coastlines. He could also strike the earth with his trident, causing earthquakes that shook the land and reshaped landscapes. The trident, in its destructive capacity, represented Poseidon's wrath and his ability to punish those who displeased him or defied his authority. However, the trident was not solely an instrument of destruction. It was also a tool of creation and beneficence. By striking the earth with his trident, Poseidon could bring forth springs of fresh water, providing life-giving sustenance to communities and regions. This dual nature of the trident, capable of both destruction and creation, mirrored Poseidon's own complex personality and the unpredictable forces of nature he embodied. The dolphin, a creature known for its intelligence, playfulness, and graceful movements through the water, was another significant symbol associated with Poseidon. Dolphins were considered sacred to Poseidon, often depicted accompanying him in artistic representations, leaping through the waves around his chariot, or even acting as his messengers. The dolphin's association with Poseidon likely stemmed from its natural habitat in the sea, its intelligence and seemingly benevolent nature, and its connection to seafaring cultures. Dolphins were often seen as guides and protectors of sailors, leading ships through treacherous waters and warning them of impending storms. As such, the dolphin became a symbol of Poseidon's benevolent aspect, his role as protector of seafarers and guardian of the seas. The story of the dolphin persuading Amphitrite to marry Poseidon further solidified the creature's symbolic link to the sea god, highlighting its role as a mediator and a bringer of harmony within his domain. The horse, in all its majestic strength, speed, and untamed beauty, was the third major symbol of Poseidon, reflecting his dominion over these noble beasts and his connection to the terrestrial realm. As the creator and tamer of horses, Poseidon was deeply associated with equestrian culture in ancient Greece. Horses were vital for transportation, warfare, and agriculture, playing a significant role in daily life and societal structure. Poseidon's patronage of horses extended to chariot racing and equestrian competitions, events that were often held in his honor at festivals and games. The horse, as a symbol of Poseidon, represented his power over the terrestrial realm, his association with strength, speed, and untamed nature, mirroring the wild and unpredictable forces of the sea and earthquakes he also controlled. The myth of Pegasus, the winged horse born from Poseidon's union with Medusa, further cemented the horse's symbolic link to the sea god, adding a mythical and fantastical dimension to their association. Key myths and stories of Poseidon, tales of wrath and wonder. The mythology of Poseidon is rich with captivating tales that showcase his immense power, volatile temper, and complex relationships with gods, mortals, and monsters alike. These myths and stories, passed down through generations, provide invaluable insights into the ancient Greek understanding of Poseidon's character, his domains, and his role in the cosmic order. From his dramatic birth and participation in the Titanomachy to his famous contests and vengeful pursuits, Poseidon's myths are filled with drama, action, and profound symbolic meaning. One of the foundational myths of Poseidon's life is his birth and the events leading up to the Titanomachy. As recounted earlier, Poseidon was swallowed by his father Cronus at birth, along with his siblings. This act of paternal cruelty set the stage for the eventual rebellion of the Olympian gods against the Titans. Poseidon's liberation from Cronus's belly by Zeus marked a turning point in the cosmic struggle, setting him on the path to becoming one of the most powerful Olympian deities. His participation in the Titanomachy, wielding the trident forged by the Cyclops, solidified his role as a key player in the Olympian victory and the subsequent establishment of their rule over the cosmos. Perhaps one of the most famous myths involving Poseidon is his contest with Athena for the patronage of the city of Athens. Both deities desired to be the city's protector and namesake, and they agreed to a competition to determine who would bestow the most valuable gift upon the Athenians. Poseidon struck the Acropolis with his trident, causing a saltwater spring to emerge. This gift, while demonstrating his power over water, was deemed less useful to the Athenians than Athena's offering. Athena, in turn, presented an olive tree, a symbol of peace, prosperity, and sustenance. The Athenians, wisely choosing practicality over raw power, favored Athena's gift, and she became the patron goddess of Athens. Despite losing the contest, Poseidon was not gracious in defeat. Enraged by the Athenians' choice, he unleashed a devastating flood upon the Attic plain, demonstrating his vengeful nature and his capacity for destructive wrath when his pride was wounded. Poseidon's wrath is a recurring theme in his mythology, often directed towards mortals who dared to offend him or cross his path. The Odyssey, Homer's epic poem recounting Odysseus's long and arduous journey home after the Trojan War, provides a prime example of Poseidon's vengeful nature. During his travels, Odysseus blinded Polyphemus, a Cyclops who was also Poseidon's son. Enraged by this act of violence against his offspring, Poseidon vowed to make Odysseus's journey home as difficult and protracted as possible. He unleashed storms upon Odysseus's ship, shipwrecked his crew, and constantly thwarted his attempts to reach Ithaca, prolonging his voyage for 10 long years. This myth highlights Poseidon's fierce protectiveness of his children and his unwavering pursuit of vengeance against those who wronged them, showcasing the darker side of his divine personality. Despite his vengeful tendencies, Poseidon was not always depicted as a purely wrathful deity. He also played a role in assisting heroes and intervening in mortal affairs, albeit often in ways that reflected his own complex motivations. During the Trojan War, as recounted in Homer's Iliad, Poseidon initially favored the Greeks, siding with them against the Trojans. He aided the Greeks in various ways, using his power over the sea to disrupt Trojan supply lines and even intervening directly in battles to bolster the Greek forces. However, his support for the Greeks was not unwavering, and he occasionally shifted his allegiances depending on the unfolding events and his own personal whims, highlighting the unpredictable and often capricious nature of the Olympian gods. Poseidon's myths also delve into his numerous romantic liaisons and the vast lineage he fathered. His union with Medusa, before her transformation into a Gorgon, resulted in the birth of Pegasus, the winged horse, a creature that became a symbol of inspiration and divine power. His relationships with various nymphs and mortal women produced a diverse array of offspring, including heroes like Theseus, in some accounts, giants like Orion and Antaeus, and monstrous creatures like Polyphemus and the sea monster Scylla. These numerous offspring, often embodying aspects of their father's domains and personality, further expanded Poseidon's influence and presence throughout the mythological landscape, populating the world with figures who reflected his power, his wrath, and his creative potential. The myth of Pelops further illustrates Poseidon's complex role in mortal affairs. Pelops, a mortal prince, was favored by Poseidon, who abducted him to Olympus and made him his lover. Later, Pelops was returned to Earth, and Poseidon gifted him with winged horses to aid him in winning a chariot race to marry Hippodamia. This myth showcases Poseidon's capacity for both romantic affection and bestowing gifts upon mortals he favored, although even in this seemingly benevolent tale, elements of abduction and divine intervention hint at the often unequal power dynamics between gods and mortals. Poseidon's myths are not limited to interactions with mortals and heroes, they also include conflicts and contests with other gods. His rivalry with Apollo for the Oracle of Delphi, though ultimately unsuccessful, demonstrates his ambition and his willingness to challenge even his fellow Olympians. His battles against giants and monstrous creatures further showcase his strength and his role in maintaining cosmic order against the forces of chaos. These diverse myths and stories, collectively, paint a rich and multifaceted portrait of Poseidon, revealing him as a god of immense power, volatile emotions, and complex motivations, a figure who embodies the untamed forces of nature and plays a crucial role in the grand tapestry of Greek mythology. Worship and cult of Poseidon, honoring the master of the seas. The worship of Poseidon was widespread throughout ancient Greece and its colonies, particularly in coastal regions and areas with strong maritime connections. As the god of the sea, earthquakes, storms, and horses, he was a deity of immense importance to various segments of ancient Greek society, from sailors and fishermen to horse breeders and civic communities. His cult practices, temples, festivals, and rituals reflect the diverse aspects of his dominion and the deep reverence he commanded. Poseidon's worship was particularly prominent in the Peloponnese, a region often referred to as the residence of Poseidon, due to the numerous temples and sanctuaries dedicated to him. The Ionic cities of Asia Minor also held Poseidon in high regard, with his cult being introduced by Achaean colonists in the 11th century BC, who hailed from Pylos, a city where Poseidon was the principal deity. The significance of his cult is further evidenced by the numerous place names derived from his name, such as Potidaia in the Chalkidiki Peninsula and Posidonia, later known as Paestum, in southern Italy, Greek colonies that bore witness to the widespread veneration of the sea god. Major cult centers and temples dedicated to Poseidon dotted the ancient Greek landscape, serving as focal points for worship and ritualistic practices. The Temple of Poseidon at Sunion, perched dramatically on a cliff overlooking the Aegean Sea, was one of the most prominent sanctuaries, serving as a major center for maritime rituals and offerings from sailors seeking safe passage. Helike, an ancient Achaean city, was another significant center of Poseidon worship, housing a renowned temple dedicated to Poseidon Helikonios. Archaeological discoveries at Helike have revealed the ruins of this once-lost sanctuary, showcasing the enduring legacy of Poseidon's worship in the region. Other notable temples and sanctuaries were located at the Isthmus of Corinth, where the Isthmian Games were held in his honor, and at various coastal cities and islands throughout the Greek world. Festivals and rituals played a crucial role in Poseidon's cult, providing opportunities for communities to honor the god, seek his favor, and appease his potentially wrathful nature. The Isthmian Games, held biennially near Corinth, were among the most important Panhellenic games, second only to the Olympic Games in prestige. These games featured athletic competitions, including horse races, chariot races, and various athletic contests, all dedicated to Poseidon and celebrating his association with horses and athletic prowess. The Poseidonia, an annual festival held in various locations, was specifically dedicated to Poseidon, featuring processions, sacrifices, prayers, and offerings aimed at ensuring a safe and bountiful year for seafaring and coastal communities. Sacrifices to Poseidon typically involved animals associated with his domains, such as bulls, horses, and dolphins. Offerings of food, wine, and other valuable goods were also common, particularly from sailors seeking his protection before embarking on long voyages. Poseidon's cult was not solely a matter of individual or occupational devotion, he also played a significant role as a civic god and a symbol of unity within various Greek communities and leagues. In many cities, particularly coastal cities and those with strong maritime traditions, Poseidon was a major civic deity, second only to the patron goddess in importance. In Corinth, for example, Poseidon was the chief god of the polis, reflecting the city's prominent role in maritime trade and its strategic location on the isthmus. The Pantheon, a festival of all Ionians held near Mycale, was celebrated in honor of Poseidon Helikonios, serving as a meeting place for the Ionian League and fostering a sense of shared identity among the Ionian cities. Similarly, Poseidon was the patron god of the Amphictyony of Calaureia, a religious league of maritime city-states, and his sanctuary at Onchestos in Boeotia became the meeting place of the Second Boeotian League, highlighting his role as a unifying figure in regional alliances. The Temple of Poseidon Helikonios at Helike served as the meeting place of the Achaean League, further emphasizing his association with political and communal unity. Beyond his role as a civic god and protector of seafarers, Poseidon was also venerated in various other aspects. As the god of horses, he was honored in equestrian contexts, with temples dedicated to Poseidon Hippios, of the horse, found in Arcadia and Sparta, often located near hippodromes or areas associated with horse racing. He was also considered the creator of the first horse and the teacher of horsemanship, further solidifying his connection to equestrian culture. As the god of waters, Poseidon was also associated with freshwater sources, particularly springs and rivers. He was sometimes worshipped as ruler of the springs and leader of the nymphs, reflecting his dominion over all forms of water, both salt and fresh. In some regions, Poseidon was even venerated as a healer god, particularly at Tinos, suggesting a broader range of cultic functions beyond his primary domains. The diversity of Poseidon's worship and cult practices underscores his multifaceted nature and his profound influence on various aspects of ancient Greek life, from maritime activities and civic identity to equestrian culture and even healing traditions. 7. Poseidon in art and literature, visualizing the divine. Poseidon, as a major Olympian god, has been a prominent figure in art and literature throughout history, from ancient Greek sculptures and pottery to Renaissance paintings and modern films. These artistic and literary representations have shaped and reflected evolving perceptions of the sea god, capturing his power, his wrath, his majesty, and his complex personality across different eras and cultural contexts. In ancient Greek art, Poseidon was frequently depicted as a mature, bearded man of imposing stature, embodying strength, authority, and divine presence. Sculptures and statues of Poseidon often portrayed him in dynamic poses, wielding his trident, riding a chariot drawn by sea horses or dolphins, or standing amidst waves and sea creatures. The iconic bronze statue of Poseidon found off Cape Artemision, dating back to the 5th century BC, exemplifies the classical Greek depiction of the god, capturing his athletic physique, his powerful stance, and the implied motion of hurling his trident. Pottery and vase paintings also frequently featured Poseidon, often in scenes from his myths, such as his contest with Athena, his pursuit of Amphitrite, or his battles against giants and monsters. Coins minted by various Greek city-states, particularly those with maritime connections, often bore images of Poseidon, further attesting to his civic importance and widespread veneration. In literature, Poseidon's presence is deeply felt in the epic poems of Homer, the Iliad and the Odyssey. In the Iliad, Poseidon is a powerful and active participant in the Trojan War, initially siding with the Greeks and intervening directly in battles to aid their cause. His support for the Greeks, however, is not unwavering, reflecting the complex and often shifting allegiances of the Olympian gods. In the Odyssey, Poseidon takes on a more antagonistic role, becoming the primary divine antagonist to Odysseus, relentlessly pursuing the hero and hindering his journey home as punishment for blinding Polyphemus. Homer's portrayal of Poseidon in these epics established many of the key characteristics associated with the sea god: his immense power, his volatile temper, his connection to the sea, and his capacity for both wrath and, occasionally, beneficence. Hesiod's Theogony, a foundational text of Greek mythology, provides an account of Poseidon's origins, his birth to Cronus and Rhea, his role in the Titanomachy, and the division of the cosmos among the Olympian brothers. Plato, in his dialogues Timaeus and Critias, famously mentions Atlantis, a legendary island civilization said to be Poseidon's domain, further associating the sea god with lost worlds and mythical realms. These literary works, along with numerous other ancient Greek texts, contributed to the rich and multifaceted portrayal of Poseidon, shaping his image and mythology for centuries to come. When the Romans adopted and adapted Greek mythology, Poseidon was largely identified with Neptune, the Roman god of the sea. Roman art and literature continued to depict Neptune with similar attributes to Poseidon, wielding a trident, associated with dolphins and horses, and ruling over the marine realm. Roman interpretations of Neptune, however, often emphasized his more benevolent and less wrathful aspects compared to the often tempestuous Greek Poseidon, reflecting subtle shifts in cultural emphasis and religious interpretation. During the Renaissance and Baroque periods, Poseidon Neptune experienced a renewed surge in artistic representation. Renaissance painters and sculptors, inspired by classical antiquity, rediscovered and reinterpreted the myths of Poseidon, depicting him in grand and dramatic compositions. Baroque artists, in particular, embraced the dynamism and emotional intensity of Poseidon's character, portraying him in powerful, swirling scenes that captured the raw energy of the sea and the god's commanding presence. Famous examples include Gian Lorenzo Bernini's sculpture, Neptune and Trident, and Peter Paul Rubens' painting, Neptune Calming the Storm, both showcasing the Baroque fascination with movement, drama, and the power of classical mythology. In modern literature, film, and popular culture, Poseidon continues to be a recurring and influential figure. He appears in numerous novels, poems, and plays inspired by Greek mythology, often portrayed as a powerful and complex deity, embodying both the allure and the danger of the sea. In film and television, Poseidon has been depicted in various ways, from majestic and awe-inspiring to wrathful and terrifying, often featured in adaptations of Greek myths or in contemporary fantasy settings. His image and symbols, particularly the trident, have become ingrained in popular culture, representing maritime power, oceanic forces, and the enduring legacy of Greek mythology. From ancient sculptures to modern cinematic portrayals, Poseidon's artistic and literary representations have ensured his continued presence in the cultural imagination, solidifying his status as a timeless and compelling figure in the pantheon of gods. 8. Legacy and influence, an enduring tide. Poseidon's legacy extends far beyond the ancient world, permeating various aspects of modern culture, symbolism, and even scientific understanding. His enduring presence reflects the timeless appeal of his mythology, the power of the natural forces he embodies, and the enduring fascination with the sea and its mysteries. From maritime symbolism to earthquake science and popular culture, Poseidon's influence continues to resonate in the contemporary world. In maritime symbolism, Poseidon's trident remains an instantly recognizable emblem of naval power, oceanic dominion, and seafaring traditions. Naval insignias, maritime flags, and nautical logos often incorporate the trident, evoking the god's authority over the seas and his role as protector of seafarers. The trident serves as a potent visual reminder of the sea's power and the human relationship with this vast and often unpredictable realm. Maritime museums, aquariums, and coastal institutions frequently utilize Poseidon's image and symbols to connect with the public, invoking the rich history and mythology associated with the sea. In the field of earthquake science, Poseidon's epithet, Earth Shaker, continues to hold a symbolic resonance. While modern science explains earthquakes through tectonic plate movements and geological processes, the ancient Greek understanding of earthquakes as manifestations of Poseidon's wrath provides a fascinating historical perspective on human attempts to comprehend and explain natural phenomena. The term, seismic, derived from the Greek word, seismos, meaning earthquake, further echoes Poseidon's connection to these terrestrial upheavals. Even in the scientific age, Poseidon's association with earthquakes serves as a reminder of the Earth's powerful and sometimes destructive forces that continue to shape our planet and impact human lives. In popular culture, Poseidon remains a vibrant and recognizable figure. He appears in numerous books, films, video games, and television shows, often portrayed in adaptations of Greek mythology or in contemporary fantasy settings. His image and symbols are frequently used in branding, advertising, and popular entertainment, capitalizing on his powerful and iconic status. From cartoon depictions to serious dramatic portrayals, Poseidon's presence in popular culture demonstrates his enduring appeal and his continued relevance in the modern imagination. His myths and stories continue to be retold and reinterpreted, engaging new audiences and sparking ongoing fascination with Greek mythology and the Olympian gods. Poseidon's complex personality, embodying both creation and destruction, continues to resonate with contemporary audiences. He represents the duality of nature, the forces that can both sustain and threaten human life. His wrathful nature serves as a cautionary reminder of the power of unchecked anger and the consequences of disrespecting the natural world. His role as protector of seafarers and creator of horses, however, also highlights his benevolent aspects and his connection to human endeavors and progress. The myths of Poseidon, with their dramatic narratives and complex characters, offer timeless lessons about power, responsibility, vengeance, and the human relationship with the natural world. The enduring legacy of Poseidon lies not only in his symbolic representations and cultural appearances but also in the deeper questions his mythology raises about humanity's place in the cosmos and our relationship with the forces of nature. He embodies the untamed power of the sea, the earth, and the storm, reminding us of the vast and often unpredictable forces that shape our world. His stories serve as a testament to the ancient Greek understanding of these forces as divine, powerful, and deserving of both reverence and appeasement. Even in a world increasingly shaped by science and technology, Poseidon's mythology continues to offer a powerful and enduring lens through which to contemplate our place in the universe and our ongoing dialogue with the natural world. Conclusion. The undying god of the sea. Poseidon, the god of the sea, earthquakes, storms, and horses, stands as a towering figure in the pantheon of Greek mythology, a deity whose influence extends far beyond his watery domain. From his primordial origins as a Titan's son to his Olympian reign as master of the seas, Poseidon embodies the raw, untamed forces of nature, both creative and destructive, benevolent and wrathful. His mythology is a tapestry woven with tales of power, vengeance, creation, and conflict, reflecting the ancient Greek understanding of the cosmos and their relationship with the natural world. His domains, encompassing the vast oceans, the trembling earth, the raging storms, and the noble horses, highlight the multifaceted nature of his power and his profound impact on various aspects of ancient Greek life. The trident, dolphin, and horse, his iconic symbols, serve as visual reminders of his authority, his grace, and his connection to both the wild and the cultivated realms. His myths, from the contest for Athens to the Odyssey's epic journey, reveal a complex personality, marked by both divine majesty and human-like flaws, capable of both great wrath and occasional acts of beneficence. The worship of Poseidon was widespread throughout the ancient Greek world, particularly in coastal regions and maritime communities, reflecting his importance to seafaring cultures and civic life. Temples, festivals, and rituals dedicated to him attest to the deep reverence he commanded, highlighting his role as protector, provider, and a force to be appeased. His presence in art and literature, from ancient sculptures to modern films, demonstrates his enduring appeal and his continued relevance in the cultural imagination. Poseidon's legacy extends into the modern world, his symbols and image resonating in maritime contexts, earthquake science, and popular culture. He remains a potent reminder of the power of nature, the mysteries of the sea, and the enduring fascination with Greek mythology. His stories continue to be retold and reinterpreted, offering timeless lessons about power, responsibility, and the human relationship with the forces that shape our world. In conclusion, Poseidon is more than just a god of the sea, he is a symbol of the untamed forces of nature, a representation of the power and unpredictability of the elements that have shaped human civilization for millennia. His mythology, rich and complex, continues to captivate and inspire, ensuring that the earth shaker, the storm bringer, the tamer of horses, the mighty god of the sea, will forever remain an undying figure in the vast ocean of human imagination.